What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And today I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the current state of the Washington football team. Now, I'm pretty sure I speak for everyone when I say that finally beating the Atlanta Falcons after 6 straight losses was definitely food for my soul. But it wasn't really a win that proved anything to anyone or even to ourselves. Let's not beat around the bush. This team is supposed to beat teams in search of their own identity like Atlanta is right now. In fact, I go as far as saying this team should beat teams like that by at least 2 scores. And I don't even think that I'm beating my chest or trying to pump our team up in the process of saying that. And that's not really a shot at the Falcons either, per se. More so a nod at what's supposed to be our top-notch defense, which should be putting up multiple sack games against opponents with iffy offensive lines. Not 1 sack in a game, which is what Washington had against Matt Ryan, who is a quarterback that's viewed by most everybody as a statue in the pocket. He's not good moving around. And dare I say, if Ryan was actually a mobile quarterback, the outcome of this game may have been very different. I mean, I'm still over here trying to grasp the game they gave up to Cordero Patterson. I mean, what the hell? The guy had 5 catches for 83 yards with 3 touchdowns to go with 6 carries for 34 yards and 3 kick returns for 78 yards. I mean, this guy was going off against our team all over the place. And for some reason, even though we knew he's one of the main weapons Atlanta has been targeting this year, he kept making plays. Now, as most of us know, most defensive coordinators in the NFL try and shift things or switch things up to give the opposing offense different looks, especially when, you know, they're taking it to us, but not Jack Del Rio. I'm not sure if it's him being bullheaded or just plain refusing to believe things aren't working. But Del Rio hasn't changed up much of anything since the beginning of this season. The defense still relies heavily on the front 4 to get tons of pressure, while the back end of the defense plays off the ball in soft zone for the most part. It's highly frustrating. You know, if the pressure works up front, the zone works on the back end, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, you know? And it is what it is. You know, Del Rio is so confident in our front 4 hitting home that he's sticking to his guns. You know, if that boat ever sinks, he's going to be right on the fucking front of it, acting like nothing's wrong. Now, hopefully we see a breakthrough with multiple sacks coming in the game, you know, soon. Chase Young, he has not looked like the madman we saw last year. And Montez Sweat is nowhere near as disruptive as he was last season either. And make no mistakes about it, if this team is supposed to be good this year, if they're going to be good this year, that has to change. And it has to change soon. You know, without that pressure, Matt Ryan was able to throw 4 touchdowns with no interceptions and damn near had a 300-yard passing day. Not to mention, Washington's defense had its 3rd straight game in which they gave up 29 or more points. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, they only did that 5 times all last season and none after week 10. You know, on that stretch of games where they actually turned into a pretty good football team, you know, and started doing well, they didn't give up above 29 points not one time. It's a recipe for disaster. The defense can't get to the quarterback, can't produce turnovers, and they give up 29 plus points a game while getting at least 2 bad penalties every game. I mean, you might win 6 games that way. Hell, I might be giving too much credit. You might win 4 or 5 games that way. Even with 17 game schedules, you're not looking at many wins with a team that does that. And I just don't understand how we ended up here. How did we end up in this spot right now? You know, last season, things looked promising on that side of the ball. And I must say that while I haven't been very excited about the offense in forever, I really believed we had something going with this team defensively. I came into this year thinking, just like a lot of other people were thinking, that we were going to dominate up front. And to be clear, I still believe if they can work through some of these injuries that the team is starting to face right now, that they can perhaps get back to that, even with the tougher schedule on the horizon. But it's got to start now. It can't start in a couple of weeks from now. It's got to start this coming week against the New Orleans Saints. Now, one guy in particular who was injured Sunday is John Bostic. Now, while I feel like Bostic hasn't been pulling his weight in coverage, he still knows the defense better than most, okay? And let me just say this. I hate seeing anybody get injured, even if it's a guy that I feel like he shouldn't have been getting the most snaps or whatever. I still hate anybody getting injured, especially a player of ours. And, you know, I'll be honest, what I was hoping for was a gradual shift to Jamin Davis while Davis is still getting comfortable to the speed of the game. You know, the differences in the college and the NFL game were probably noticeable for him immediately. But what we've been getting has been a large dose of Bostic, which has left Davis, you know, not getting the type of snaps that he needs to get better from week in to week out, in my opinion anyway. And I get the reasoning, you know, of playing your more seasoned player. But what I'm trying to say is this may come back to haunt us now that Davis is going to be forced into more situations. And don't get me wrong, I think the best way to do things with these guys is to put the rookie out there and have him learn in game. There's you know, no better way for a young player to learn than when he's actually going through the processes of a game time experience. But the thing is, without Bostic out there, he'll be completely on his own without a mentor, without a guiding hand. You know, while Khaleke Hudson might get more field time now, it'll likely be at the outside spot. You know, he's actually seen less time at the Mike linebacker than Davis has. And obviously, I'm hoping Jamin runs with that spot now that it's fully his. But I can't help but worry that he might not be ready. And I'm worried about Bostic too, even though I will say his contract was only for one season this year. But, you know, a torn pectoral muscle is not an easy injury to deal with. You know, Matt Ioannidis had one last year, and he missed the entire season. And so to me, that says that Bostic's time in the burgundy and gold may be over now if he's out all year or out for the remainder of the year, because his contract is up at the end of the season. And automatically, of course, I'm interested in seeing if they bring someone in off the street. Someone like, I don't know, maybe Michael Kendricks. He did pretty good in the system last season when Washington brought him in. I think a lot of people get caught up sometimes, you know, when we start talking about bringing somebody in and they think that we're going to be able to find this all-pro player who's, you know, sitting on the sidelines right now. The truth is, it's slim pickings right now. We are, you know, going into, the 5th week of the season. This is not the time to be looking for guys that are going to make an impact on your roster. But yeah, Kendricks, you know, he did pretty good last year when Washington brought him in. You know, maybe we'll see more of that Buffalo nickel package with the 3 safety sets. You know I spent a good portion of the offseason wondering if we'd see more of Landon Collins in a linebacker type role, you know, playing more at the line of scrimmage. You know, I know that he tried to shoot down that idea and the coaches kind of tried to put it on the back burner and not talk about it. But I truly believe that now might be the perfect time for Del Rio to shift his personnel, you know, kind of around to fit the team's needs and more so their shortcomings at this point. If they could just find a way to get more turnovers, I believe this team could get back to the expectations we had coming into this year. You know, at this point, the offense has been carrying things, which is honestly odd to even say that after the issues we've seen on that side of the ball. Mainly getting a quarterback in there that can stay healthy and be able to go through the playbook well. But I have to say, they seem to be playing a lot better behind that O-line and the play of Taylor Heineke. I mean, this defense, though, it needs a spark. And I'm thinking it's just a matter of time before Chase Young explodes. You know, it's what the team is missing. You know, the turnover he creates, the pressure he puts on, the havoc he creates out there on that front four. Without it, opposing offenses have been picking that zone to pieces. And it's actually sad to watch. But, you know, my main question is, why haven't we seen more halftime adjustments? Why have we not seen more press coverage? Was that not the reason they brought in William Jackson III? I mean, really. I mean, that guy, in my opinion, has been a bust signing so far. All I've seen is him getting burnt or him getting penalties or whatever. You know, when he was in Cincinnati, maybe I need to go back and look at his time in Cincinnati a little bit closer on the All-22 and see if maybe he was doing the same things there. But wasn't this guy supposed to be better than Ronald Darby? Isn't that the reason why we didn't throw millions at Darby, but we went after Jackson? Was because we were going to play more press coverage? I'm really starting to think that they messed with the chemistry that unit had by replacing a few pieces here and there. And let me also go on record as saying that, it sucks that Torrey McIntyre is probably gone for the season with a knee injury. I thought he played real well against Atlanta. I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe this guy is what we needed. You know, maybe he even played better than Benjamin St-Juste has this season. But, I know a lot of people are real high on St-Juste. But, that really shouldn't surprise us if he did, because St-Juste is only a rookie. A talented rookie, I'll give you, but a first-year player nonetheless. He's still trying to get used to the speed of the game as well. But at any rate, let's hope they get this thing together soon, because I'm going to tell you, Sundays having to look at that defense and not knowing what's going to happen is turning my hair white, man. I mean, it's aging me quick. Like, a person shouldn't have to go through that at this early a stage for me. And, let's just hope they get it together soon. The schedule only gets tougher from here on out. I saw a breakdown today that basically states that Washington has the toughest schedule in the league from this point out. So, what they've been doing against teams that aren't that great, is not going to cut it for the rest of the way out. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Do me a favor. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Is this defense going to get it back on track, or are things going to continue like they have been? Let me know. Y'all take it easy. Peace.